I read in the newspaper that the acting mayor, Vicky Buck, had written to our mayor, Len Brown, and I wondered if that letter might be tabled.
I haven't actually got it.
You haven't seen it? Does that mean it's come in and you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. It may have come in, but I have not seen it.
Could we get a copy of it for the debate?
Well, I don't know anything about it.
She took the trouble to write to this mayor to seek our support.
That's a point of clarification. It's not a question to Steve. So we'll deal with that after. Right, any other questions to Steve? Stephen? Councillor George.
Yeah, what about other councils, say New Plymouth District Council? They're involved in this area too. What's their position, Steve?
Actually, I haven't seen the submission this time from New Plymouth, but I actually don't know. I can't answer that question. I presume they expressed similar cautions about the environmental impacts. I don't imagine they would necessarily oppose it. Interestingly, what's happening in Taranaki right now in terms of the economic impact of the low oil prices, we're seeing big impacts in Taranaki from their sort of heavy reliance on the oil industry traditionally economically.
I think it's dairy-led, really. But
what's that?
It's dairy-led.
I think it's mainly felt from the dairy industry.
That's true. You're absolutely right. Dairy and oil are both having a hard time right now. And indeed, that's I think one of the points that has been made in terms of the economic reality of the fossil fuel decline, as we've seen with coal also in this country having significant impact, is that this is a sunset industry in many ways. We can't wait for it to go out of existence by itself, though. It needs to be helped out of existence, and we need to be focusing our energy on clean energy if we're to deal with climate change. Because as the BP gentleman points out, we're not actually ever going to run out of oil, and so we need to take a choice to move to a clean energy society.
I just got a follow-up question. What about in Northland? What's the Northland Regional Council's position?
Their position hasn't been established on this time round. They have there is opposition, though, significant opposition in Northland, particularly from iwi. And
with the council.
Yeah, at the regional council meeting that Statoil attended a few months ago, there was a lot of concern about the drilling. Yes.
So that was just their response.
They haven't made a response yet to this submission.
No, I'm saying it was in the emergency response aspect, wasn't it? That
yeah, in terms of the risk, yeah.
We should be concerned about that as well, should we?
Well, our emergency response capability in New Zealand is laughable, really, and that's in the Gulf of Mexico, they managed to recover 5% of the oil that was spilled with over 6,000 vessels working on recovery. In this country, the fact is when an oil blowout happens, the emergency response is largely window dressing. It doesn't really have a significant impact on the oil. You want to not get to that stage of a blowout, and the industry would say exactly the same thing, that they put all their energy into avoiding a blowout happening, obviously. But the point is that remains one of the inherent risks, and that is the risk that we need to consider.
Right. Thank you.
Steve, thank you.
Can I just ask a quick question?
I was going to move.
Mr. Mayor, can I just ask one quick question? Can you just confirm for me, Mr. Abel, that because it's not apparent in the actual email, that the over 1,500 emails that we've received into our inbox are generated through an automatic generation of some kind via Greenpeace organisation? We've received the same pro forma emails over 1,500 times. Is that from your organisation or generated from your organisation?
So we set up a submission form for members of the public to utilise, by which they can send an email to you.
And can you also confirm for me other ways in which you've promoted your response to this particular block offer submission from us? Does it include sticking of posters on lamp posts around town centres? For
the block offer?
Yep.
Not that I know of. I don't know of any sticking of lamp posts.
Thank you.
Okay, questions asked and answered. Stephen,
and there's a strong deep sea oil movement in the country which may involve some public expression of opposition to oil drilling, if that's what you mean.
There's a reason I'm asking in regards to the lamp posts, but I'll refer to that in debate.
Right. Steve, thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you very much. Okay, our next piece of public input will be from Penny Bright, who's going to talk about cost-benefit analysis of the Auckland Council amalgamation. Steve, thank you. Thank you. Penny?
I was happy to move, thanking Steve.
Yeah, I'll move both of them.
Okay, all good.
That's all right. I enjoy getting your guidance today, Councillor Wayne. It's excellent.
Have guidance.
Right, Penny, welcome. 5 minutes, as you know.
Thank you, Mayor and councillors. For your information, next month I will be attending my 5th International Anti-Corruption Conference, where I will be mixing and mingling with 500 to 600 international anti-corruption experts. And I will be explaining, as a 2016 Auckland mayoral candidate, the persecution and prosecutions I have and am facing as an anti-corruption whistleblower. One of the things that I shall be seeking considered opinion from these anti-corruption experts from is the unelected private sector lobby group, the Committee for Auckland, whose member companies contract to Auckland Council and CCOs, and to which Auckland Council and some CCOs are actually members. And to assist, I have included for the minutes a copy of Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act reply, which points out basically the lack of governance and oversight, the fact that the once clear boundaries between public and private are now no longer. Please be advised, councillors, in case you don't know, that I made a second without prejudice offer in my defamation case against CEO Stephen Town, which was rejected.
Penny...
Okay, I'm getting on to the meat now, which is that is it time for an independent cost-benefit analysis of the Auckland forced amalgamation? I say yes, and interestingly enough, the National Party-dominated Local Government and Environment Select Committee of Parliament, some of them agree with me. What has happened is that there's been a Local Government and Environment Select Committee report on my petition 2014/9, and the recommendation is the Local Government and Environment Committee has considered petition 2014/9 of Penelope Mary Bright and 43 others and recommends that the House take note of its report. The petition requests that the House conduct an urgent inquiry into the alleged failure of the current local government commissioners to carry out the necessary due diligence in order to comply with their statutory duties under the Local Government Act 2002 before formulating the draft Wellington reorganisational proposal. Petitioners' concerns. In 2009, 1 regional and 7 territorial authorities were amalgamated to create the Auckland Super City. It was actually 2010. The petitioner told us she was opposed to the Auckland amalgamation from its inception and questioned its reasoning. Because of her interest in local government reorganisation, the petitioner decided to become involved in the draft Wellington reorganisational proposal when it was released. The petitioner is critical that the Commission released its draft Wellington proposal before it provided statistical data on Wellington's 9 local councils' costs of services and regulatory functions, on which future costs could be measured. How can you have a cost-benefit analysis if you don't know where the costs fall? Acquired statistics illustrating the predicted efficiencies resulting from Auckland's amalgamation. An opportunity to learn from Auckland, cost-benefit analysis. The petitioner suggests that cost-benefit analysis data of the Auckland amalgamation should have been made available to the general public. She believes this would have been a useful resource to help inform the public when considering the Wellington proposal. Some of us agree that publicly providing a cost-benefit analysis of Auckland's local government amalgamation may have been helpful. Applying Auckland's efficiency savings to Wellington. The petitioner wrote to the Auckland Council asking about efficiency savings, financial savings resulting from better organisational operation it has gained from amalgamation. There was, the petitioner noted that the Greater Wellington Regional Council, in its application for local government reorganisation proposal for a unitary authority with local boards for the Wellington region, had mentioned these savings, stating that, quote, the Auckland Council experience and overseas examples strongly suggest that there should be a reasonable expectation of efficiency savings from the creation of a combined Wellington Council. Auckland Council replied that its efficiency savings were not available in a readily accessible format. However, the Council contested the petitioner's suggestion that the efficiency savings opportunities identified by the Greater Wellington Regional Council were based on information regarding Auckland's own efficiency savings. The petitioner believes that transparent evidence proving efficiency savings from the Auckland amalgamation would have been helpful in assessing the Wellington proposal. Some of us agree that this information should have been provided in an easily accessible format, especially considering that the Greater Wellington Regional Council mentioned Auckland's efficiency savings. Some of the information we received highlighted potential issues that we believe are worth investigating. We will raise these issues when the Local Government Commission appears before us in the future.
Penny, close to finishing?
Yes, just about finished. Committee procedure. Petition 2014/9 of Penelope Mary Bright was referred to us on the 29th of April 2015. We received written and oral evidence from the petitioner. I was the only one they got evidence from. So obviously, the Local Government and Environment Select Committee couldn't have seen that Ms Bright makes wild and inaccurate accusations about the council, because it was my obviously compelling evidence that has resulted in this very strongly worded report. And the last point I'd like to make is that, hot off the press, I have a new petition, and I have an MP who's prepared to present it, respectfully requesting that the House conduct an urgent inquiry into the cost effectiveness, transparency and democratic accountability to the Auckland Council and the majority of Auckland citizens and ratepayers of all Auckland Council controlled organisations, because there was never one before we got this forced upon us, and there hasn't been one since, regarding Auckland CCOs, which have been the mechanism for the corporate takeover of the Auckland region. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. Right. Are there any questions of Penny? Councillor John.
Not so much a question of Penny, Mr Mayor, but Penny's theme today is one that you do hear occasionally echoed in the community as to an assessment or a view of the, of the functioning of the Auckland Council. In your conversations, Mr Mayor, or anyone else for that matter, has the government ever signalled any interest or intention to conduct such a review at some point in time?
No, although, as you know, we're constantly subject to reviews, analysis, research and reflection, but nothing specifically on the issue that Penny has brought to us today. From an organisational side, Steve, are you aware of any of this? No. Councillor John, what is evident is that Penny is suggesting to us that this matter will be taken to Parliament. So in my view, in terms of a full review of exactly how Auckland Council is going, would either be best done through the review of the Auckland Plan at the beginning of the third term, or maybe at the end of the third term. You really need some benchmarks to measure against. So we'll see what Parliament comes up with, and I expect the government will continue their process of review and analysis. And as I say, I think beginning of the third term will be an opportunity for fresh council to look anew at how we've gone thus far and maybe make some recommendations to the government.